thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in great spirits. Real talk. Hopefully your Tuesday was good. Mine was a little bit crazy, you know, and I appreciate all y'all who are over at the Real Beef with S&P with myself and my sister Sandy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation and all that. But I wanted to come on and give you guys this info. Now, the thing is that we have some more developing information revolving around Rudy Farias. Rudy has spoken out. Now, I know a lot of people hopped on this very, very fast, getting this information, getting this story, getting the interview. But the funny thing is that not all the interview was out. Not the whole thing. The whole enchilada was not out. There was only like 2 videos that were out. And I will say this, shout out to Grizzy Hood News, okay? Shout out to Grizzy Hood News for her unbelievable work on her channel covering this specific case and this specific story. So we got 2 different things we're going to be looking at. I'm going to hop around. We're going to be looking at 2 different things. One of the main things is from Grizzy, but also from the actual news network that was actually in the room, actually interviewing Rudy as well. And I think that this is something just mind-blowing. I will say that I am so unbelievably confused. It is wild, but I do have my theories around this interview. Now, you see the comment, you see the title above, you see the title down below, wherever you're watching this show right here. I do appreciate you guys being here. Do me a favor, okay? You see the title, okay? Like I said, this is wild because the information that's being given now still sparks the question, how much of this is true and how much of it is not? Is he covering his tracks or not? We're going to get into that. But first, some housekeeping really quick. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do all that good stuff. That would really mean a lot. Send it past 300 likes as you guys start to file in. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to every single last one of y'all. Real talk, does mean a lot to have you guys here, really. And I missed you guys. Wasn't able to do any shows this morning, but I'm here to give you guys this information. I was kind of waiting for more developing information on this one and a couple other stories, a couple other cases we're looking at as well. But this came out, so we're going to talk about it tonight. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? Please and thank you. You know your boy's working hard out here in these streets to give you guys the conversation and the story that you need for the day. So please and thank you. Crush that subscribe button. Hit that join button down below as well if you want to support the channel. Okay, become a family member. That would be greatly appreciated. And of course, join my Patreon. I've been sending and sharing links of things that I'm going to be talking about later on in the day, etc. on Patreon. So if you want to be abreast of things that I'm looking at that are percolating in the back of my mind before we go live, please, by all means, join my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. Anyway, we got to get into this. So we are here together. Here we are. On earth together, it's you and I. All right, we got to get into this, guys. I appreciate all y'all for being here again. Thank you, Rook, for the $2. Happy to be here. Love your show, and I love you. Mwah. Thank you so much for your support. That really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got to get into this. As you guys already know, Rudy Farias, okay, was 17 when he went missing, okay, about 8 years ago in 2015. Okay, again, in 2015, he was 17 years old. He took his dogs out for a walk, allegedly, and never returned home. The world went crazy, of course. People were trying to figure out where this young man was. He was not found. He went missing for 8 whole years. But then recently, he was found. 8 years later, slumped over outside of a church. A good Samaritan took him under their wing, brought them to the emergency room because he was in very bad shape, only to find out that this actually was Rudy Farias, a young, at the time, 17-year-old boy that went missing 8 years ago. They said, holy cow, here is Rudy Farias. What the hell is going on, right? Well, later on, we found out through Quanell X that he was hiding in plain sight, that he was actually living inside that home and was saying to Quanell at the time some very unthinkable, terrible, mind-blowing, heartbreaking things that he said that his mom was doing to him. Now, I'm going to skip because we already know all the other stuff. We had the press conference with Houston PD. They basically said all the accusations that Rudy said about his own mama were not true. Quanell went on a crazy, understandably, very passionate media press circuit and a press conference as well to triple, if not quadruple down on the information that Rudy uttered with his own mouth about his own mother, saying basically what Rudy told me, I believe is the truth. And this young man needs to be as far away from this monster of a mother as quickly as possible. So after that press conference, after the aunties, Team Auntie, came out and said what they said as well, confirming, if not backing some of the things that were being said by Quanell. We all have been sitting here wondering, when are we going to be hearing more information from the actual victim himself, Rudy? And in fact, when are we actually going to hear as well from the mom? If we're actually going to hear anything from her, is she going to step forward and say anything at all? Now, we learned yesterday that she was allegedly trying to press charges. She was at the police precinct trying to press charges. At least this is what the rumor mill is saying right now. But that's so far the only thing that we've heard. Thanks to Grizzy Hood News, Grizzy Hood News, we were able to see some things in the backyard showing that there was a trap door that led to the woods in the backyard of Jani Santana's home, where it is to be said that Rudy would be rushed out of the house to hide in the backyard in the wooded area if any friends, family, etc. came over, to continue to push the lie of Rudy being missing. They found bottles of liquor, containers that would contain rotisserie chickens, fast food bags, wrappings, etc., all in that backyard, showing that somebody's been out there, and it's been out there many, many times. And this all was Rudy back there, hiding for 8 years. Now, we have this information, which is still very strange to me. Okay. This story in this case has gotten wilder and wilder. It keeps getting crazier, keeps getting thicker than a snicker. But this part is this is the part where I found to be a bit odd. Now, there's a couple of things we got to look at, okay? One of those things is that we are going to be looking at a video, the full interview. We're going to be watching with our own two eyes the interview of him talking about his experience at home. Does he confirm or deny the things that were being said from Quanell X? Is he going to confirm or deny those things? We're going to hear that soon. But as you can see right here, you can see in this article as well, he claims he wasn't his mom's, thing. I can't even use those words. Okay? He denies that his mom did anything to him. Got to use these, I'm hopping around these words, okay? During their 8-year sham disappearance, but says he lived in a prison where he was brainwashed and manipulated. So pretty much what blows my mind is that we hear from Quanell X. Quanell X comes out and says, he told me all of this. Every single story that he said, every single piece of the story that he said never changed. Quanell X's story never changed. Not once. Every single one, every single interview that we watched, and we watched a lot of them, fam. We all watched them as a family. Doesn't matter how many times he did that interview. He said it exactly the same way every single time. And you know how, like, when cops interrogate a suspect, they'll ask them to keep repeating tell the story again over and over and over again ad nauseum, because they're trying to find some sort of hiccup. If they're going to exaggerate, if they're going to add more stuff to the story, so on and so forth. When you hear from Quanell X's own mouth, you hear him say the same thing. It never changes. Maybe the questions being asked to Quanell change, but it's the same story every time. Press conference, same thing. He said, they did some terrible things to that boy. She did some terrible things to that boy. And he said, hey, HPD, don't even try me. Don't even. Because I have it recorded. I have it. I have evidence. Proof of the things that he said to me. Now, this makes this piece of information very interesting, right? Because now he's claiming that he wasn't a slave, that he wasn't bending to his mother's will, being used as a prop, okay, for her own sexual desires. I hate to say it like that, but that's exactly what it was. He retracts all that stuff. But the thing is, though, you got to hear from his own mouth, because the way he says it makes you think. Real quick, Quinn, thank you so much for the 2. I appreciate it. And Q said he had recordings. Exactly. I just said that, Quinn, but you're right. Q did say, I got the recordings. And he said, I don't want to embarrass this young man, but I have it on recording. And he even said there was a detective in the room. That same detective that was at the press conference was in the room hearing this confession, hearing this jaw-dropping, heartbreaking confession about the horrors that this young man went through, or at least what he alleged of his mother doing to him for the past 8 doggone years. But now we get to hear some of the truth. Now, I first want to do this, okay? I first want to do this. Give some love. Quinn said, thank you so much for the 2. We said at the same time, Jinx, yeah, you owe me a Coke now. All right. Now you owe me a Coke. All right. But thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it, guys. Seriously. Dory McNulty, thank you so much for being a member for the past 26 months. Wow. That deserves an applause. You dealt with me for over 2 years. Damn. Thank you. Oh my Lord. Thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. She says, happy to be with my family and hash all of this out. Love being here. Dory. Come on now. We love having you here. You know that. You've been known that, though. Okay. And everybody, if you guys do appreciate the conversation, please hit that like button down below. Please, please, please. And thank you. Now, one of the things I do want to do is I want to give this woman some very, very big shout out. Okay. I have never talked to her in my life or anything like that, but I have seen a lot of her work in the past over other stories over the past few years. This girl's very, very good at what she does, and she has definitely been being a voice for the voiceless in the Houston area and in the surrounding areas as well. So I do want to give her a mad love real quick. Is Grizzy's Hood News. Okay, go and see her stuff. Now the thing is that this stuff has been out. All right, I first want to show you like interview number 1. Now, she did not shoot this on some professional camera or anything like that. She did this with her phone. She had her microphone, she had it hooked up, she plugged in, and she sat and was basically a fly on the wall, if you will, watching the getting the information, hearing the interview go down, and of course documenting this. Now, I would show you guys this, but I'm not going to. The reason why I am not going to show you is because, well, one, I wanted you guys just to get a glimpse of what it looks like. Okay. Like, we don't need to hear the audio or anything, but you can at least see that he's totally blurred out. Okay. His face is totally blurred out. He does not want his face to be shown right now, which is totally, totally understandable. Okay. But I say, please go and show her some love, follow her page, etc. She's been doing a really great job on her Facebook page. And her Facebook page, man, it's like over 500,000 followers and all that. She's doing her damn job. So you keep doing your thing, Grizzy, because she's dope. Okay. So I want to give her some love real quick. But real quick, this is the one, because this is still, let me show it to you guys. Still, you can see right here, this is the interview. So it's one big blotch. Okay. Just so you guys know. Just one big blur. So it's very important to prick up your ears and listen. Okay. Because this is the one where it's like, no shade, just a little bit better audio and all that. So you can hear it a little bit cleaner. And also it is the full interview. Okay. Now I know Grizzy was only uploading, one at a time, like part 1, 2, and 3. You can go and check that video out. By all means, I highly recommend it. It is very telling. But at the same time, this is some really interesting stuff. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay. Now I am going to be cutting in and out of this because it's a lot that's being said in this video. And I have to react because of fair use and all that goodness. Okay. But let's get into this. Again, hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's rock and roll. Let me know, hit the number 1 so I know that you guys can hear this. Let's go.
All right. Are you shocked at how much attention this is?
Yeah, a lot. It's a lot of attention. It kind of gets me overwhelmed, Other than that, I just try to stay positive,
1 second, guys.
Just try to keep my mentality straight and honest and true, and just spread positivity and kindness,
So the world thought you were missing for 8 years. Where were you? Where have you been?
Just at home. Just stuck at home, if somebody would come over, my mom would just tell me, stay in the room, keep the door locked, don't let them in, don't make any sounds, do anything,
Tell us about what it was like living there. Were you allowed to leave the room? Was she holding you there against your will?
She never locked me in or, handcuffed me or anything like that. I had free will to leave. It's just, it just felt like brainwashing, honestly. It just kept confusing me, just the way, she would manipulate me into saying oh, you're going to get arrested because you have a speeding ticket or something, like something minor, something innocent. And then it would just kind of escalate into just people sorry.
You're good.
It just,
take your time.
Yeah, it just escalated from there, from, just wanting to get away from home, just be free, live my own life, arguing all the time. And then we eventually just went into she locked me in there pretty much mentally, just that she was my only parent. She was the only person I ever really had besides my brother. So when I lost my brother, I didn't have anybody to teach me how to live, how to have confidence or trust in myself or anything, So I just depended on my mom all my life.
What had you been doing for those?
Okay, so hold on really quick, okay? Because obviously I gotta hop in and out of this because of fair use and all that goodness, okay? But let me just say this really quick, because to me something about this does not sit well in my heart, and I know it could be really easy for all of us to dive in and try to find holes in this situation, try to find reasons to spread more rumors or not believe him or anything like that. But I'm going to be real right now. I don't believe this. Right now that we've only been less than 2 minutes into this interview, and I'm not feeling what he is saying here. It still isn't sitting right in my heart. Something about this does not feel real. Also, the way he talks, the way he talks, nonetheless, is very strange. Something's not right here, guys. I'm just going to say it, but let's continue.
8 years.
Just trying to study the best I can online, understand how the world works, understand different cultures, different religions, different everything, because my life, I just believe that we should stop putting labels on everything and just understand the communities and the prosperity and the growth and the positivity, because there's just too much fighting, there's too much anger, there's too much depression and mental health problems in the world.
Okay, real quick. He just said, so the reporter just asked him, what has he been doing for the past 8 years? He said, what have you been doing for the past 8 years? And this was his answer. This is his answer right here. Now, let me just say this. Are these side effects from the amount of chemicals that he's had in his body? Okay, you got to remember the things that were claimed before. And then you hear him talk now, how he said to Quanell that he was forced these specific psychedelics, etc., these kind of things into his body. Like, is he still high? I hate to say that, but it's a bit odd, right? Then also at the same time, exactly, Mary Elizabeth on Facebook, it does feel like this is just the words coming from a very deeply traumatized individual. But then again, I could just be crazy. So let's continue.
Yeah, we just need to spread more positivity, because all of it, everything around us, it's an algorithm that they control through the social media and through the colors and just everything. Like if you see something white, like a white wall or a white pillowcase or a white car driving around the place, you'll just understand that, like, you're just trying to have a positive thought, and then you'll look at something white and get sidetracked, and you'll get distracted about stuff and things, and then you'll find stuff like a pink wall or something, or pink whatever, and then you'll be reminded of somebody trying to help you, prosperity, just somebody loving people. And red, people confuse that for anger or hate, and it's only anger or hate, these type of things, if you look at it that way.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's a lot to unpack within this first part, and because this part, to me, I mean, it still feels like the hallucinogens are still kicking in, or he is just so mentally destroyed that he doesn't even know what's reality and what's not. Because even so, he's talking about colors, y'all. He almost is like on a Matrix-y type of thing. Like he's kind of on Matrix in a way. Like, oh yeah, there's an algorithm to everything. And then he starts talking about colors and how you look at the color white, but then if you see something pink, it makes you feel some other way. And red is not red for anger and violence. And you see what I'm saying? It's almost as if the hallucinogens are still in his system, or he is just a deeply, deeply traumatized young man, or there's option C as well. He's someone who deals with a very terrible mental health issue. Those are the only three choices here. It's just very interesting, his perspective and how he is answering these questions. In fact, the questions aren't even really being answered. He says something and then he goes off the rails, y'all. He goes off the rails. But let's continue.
Police said a lot of times that you were 17 when this happened and you're an adult. You spoke a little bit about this, about some of the family trauma you've had growing up. Talk about the fact that although you're an adult, how difficult it was for you to be in this situation and maybe not be able to get out of.
It felt like Stockholm syndrome, honestly. Like, just held against my will mentally, not physically, just constantly. Like, she was bombarding me with negative thoughts, and like every time I come around her, she just makes me, it's like little triggers just pop up, and it's like if I'm trying to get away from my mom, I'll hear a random noise, and it'll be like a little reminder in my head, like, don't do that, don't say this, or just little things. Like, she's putting ideas or thoughts into my head whenever I'm just trying to just understand the world.
Do you think your mom took?
Hold on real quick. So that clearly shows to me manipulation city. All right. Manipulation city. He took these opportunities. Okay. She took these opportunities to mess with his head, to keep him there, to not get him to walk away, to not get him to grow up and be his own man and go and live his life, find a girl, fall in love, get married, maybe have some children of his own, and have her be leaving her with an empty nest. But she obviously, you can clearly see that there is manipulation going on here. Without a shadow of a doubt, there's manipulation. So are we to believe everything he said? Because he also did say Stockholm syndrome. He did say that. And I know some of you guys, someone just said, hold on, I get that. Lisa Lapp just said, OMG Pascal, he's acting, don't you see it? See, that's the other thing too. Is this one big old act? Was he trained? But then think about this. Was he trained in this way as well? Think about it. Could this just be the influence of his mother coming through? Remember, there's other stories of him battling cancer when he was a kid. There's stories of that too. The fakeness of all these things, the hoaxes that were created. Same thing with this. Is he in on it? I'm just asking the questions, guys, because to me, this is some strange-ish. Very strange. Real quick. Thank you, Rook. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much, Rook. Welcome to the family. Welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the family. All right. And just like Rook, you can join the family and become a member. That'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, let's continue on. This thing is just thick with stuff. Let's go.
Advantage of you?
Heavily.
How does that feel?
Hold on, really quick. The reporter asked if the mother took advantage of him, and he said heavily.
I mean, I can't imagine. You said your mom's really the only person in your family you have. How was that you felt your own mom took advantage?
It's like I lived in prison. It's like I lived in a jail my whole life. I just wanted to be free. I wanted to have a job.
This whole thing is nuck and fucks.
I just wanted to just love somebody, have somebody else who would actually love me, because I wasn't sure what love was. I struggled understanding my emotions. I don't know when I'm sad and that I'm sending out negative energy. I don't understand when I'm happy and sending out positive energy. The only way I was understanding how to communicate with people was online, and even then you can't trust everything you see online, because half the time people are just making their own assumptions and spinning what they want, and I can't ever speak my truth because everybody wants to assume things.
Can you go into the brainwashing? What would she say to you? Would she say something would happen if you were to leave her home?
It wasn't that. It's just after I left, I started to understand that all of it's just an algorithm. It's literally all an algorithm. If you look at something black, you understand that they understand. If you look at something white, it'll confuse you when you're trying to go in a positive direction. If you look at something red, it'll remind you of love. If you look at green, it'll remind you of, like grounding people that are there for you and stuff,
Hold on. Now, some of y'all were at somebody said Matrix. That don't sound like the Matrix to you as far as the algorithm stuff. and how the colors are talking about. I'm not talking about the colors part, but he talked about, oh, the world has this algorithm, blah blah blah. Like, that doesn't scream Matrix to you? It does to me, at least. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, he's talking about colors, y'all. You're telling me that this guy is totally 110% sound mind and body right now? Mary just asked, is he autistic? I don't know if he's on the spectrum. I really don't know if he's on the spectrum. But at the same time, he's talking incoherently right now. The things that he's talking about do not make any sense. And then also at the same time, let's keep it real. If the claims in which Quanell X came out and said about what happened to this young man for those 8 years, and if he was being that traumatized, locked away in a room, forced chemicals, like hallucinogens, etc., forced to be by himself, tripping his balls off, then on top of that, getting SA'd by his own mama, do you think he's going to talk coherently when all he's had is conversations with his mom, who is just terrorizing him, and by himself with the imaginary people that he sees when he's tripping his balls off? Do you think he's going to be talking coherently right now? I'm going to tell you right now, an emphatic hail to the no. He's going to come off strange, because it's not like he's having regular conversations with people on the everyday basis. Clearly, there's some mental health issues going on here for sure. This man, she broke this man. If this is true, if those claims from Quanell are true, because he's coming off saying that it's not true. If they're true, this woman broke this young man, broke him.
Did you feel stuck? And what was she doing exactly that kept you hidden?
It's just every time I would try to leave or, try to do things for myself, like I want to go get my own money, I want to go work a different job, I want to do this and that, they would always just come right back around to just, don't do that, or it's bad, don't do that, like cops are going to come out, they're going to do this, they're going to arrest you if you're driving a car without a license or this and that. And it's just like, oh, how do you expect me to get a license to drive a car if I can't even go out? All I do is work 12-hour shifts 7 days a week and I get $60. Like, I don't understand how that's fair.
Why do you think she wanted to keep you hidden?
I don't know. It all started just because I had a speeding ticket. I went like 70 and a 55 trying to go to work. And then when that all started, it's just like I wasn't able to have a life. I was starting to working and growing and, provide for myself. And then after that happened, I couldn't do it.
I think the question everyone has is why your mom would lie and say that you've been missing for 8 years. Did she ever tell you, did you ever ask, Mom, why are we pretending that I'm missing?
And that's the thing, when it comes to the real small details like that, I don't remember. It's like it just blocks it out. Like she's blocking it out for me or something. It's like I just want to remember the facts. I just want to understand, who I am and what I'm trying to do, and just try to live my life the way I want to, not how she wants me to.
Were you questioning your mom? Like, Mom, why am I doing this?
I would always ask her stuff like, when am I going to get a job? When am I going to have my own car? When am I going to be able to make my own decisions? When am I going to be able to just go out and be free? Like, why can't we just go to the police station? Why can't I just get a lawyer? Why can't I just do that? And she's like, oh, you can't get a lawyer because it's too much money. We can't do that because it's too much money. Everything was always just money, 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 money. It's a constantly money.
If you had to guess why she was doing this, was she making money from you being missing, as far as you know?
I don't know. I think somebody at one point mentioned something about an original GoFundMe page. And then my mom wanted to say something about like one of my aunts or something was like stole all the sodas or something. But meanwhile, where's all the money that they raised, like, and where did that go to helping find me?
So we have video. We actually, Fox 26, we interviewed your mother while you were in the hospital 10 years ago in 2012.
Uh,
What happened? Why were you in the hospital? And I guess it was mentioned to our reporter at the time that you had cancer.
I had a tumor on my heel at one point, but that was irrelevant. Originally, I think all that had started because she wanted me to fake taking some, like, a bottle of Tylenol or like Aleve PM or something, sleeping pills. And then she wanted to fake me going to the hospital, and she pretty much just forced me to go into the ER and be like, hey, act like you're sick and you're overdosing. And
This was before you were missing.
Yes, sir.
Why?
It's
Why was this
insane.
happening?
I don't even remember. I think it was something to do with school. I was depressed and I was cutting my wrist when I was, getting sad. I didn't have an idea how to, understand my emotions. It was after my brother passed away. I didn't know how to deal with pain and depression, so I would just literally just rip a Coke can open and just run it on my wrist like a cheese grater just to feel something.
Okay, so real quick, okay, because we've heard a good chunk here, but this clearly is showing that, I mean, the stuff that she was making him do, that whole thing. I mean, allegedly there's a news clip of them talking about his battle his battle with cancer and all that, right? So she clearly was trying to manipulate, trying to get this young boy, young boy at that time to do things that to scam people, right? And he's sitting there going, "Oh yeah, she made me take these certain pills and do this and make it look like I'm battling cancer, blah blah blah." I mean, it's absolutely insane, right? And Nene, yes, it could be Munchausen by proxy, proxy, absolutely, absolutely, and it continued on. Like I told you guys before, this is more than just 8 years. This is all of his life. I told you guys that. I was like, I guarantee you, this is more than just 5 years or 8 years of his life of trauma. This is a long time of stuff. So she's had her claws synced into him for a long time. So he doesn't even know how to even tell the truth, I'm sure, because of the amount of BS that this woman has been pumping into his brain. I'm sure he believes everything that he's saying right now, at least at this moment. I believe Quanell X. And I believe that he has recordings. And I think that the recordings are going to come out and the truth is going to come out and it's going to be shocking. It'll just confirm everything that he's been saying, that Quanell's been saying over and over and over again. But this is a young man that still has his mother's claws deep, deep inside of him. I'm sorry. This is not the right person to talk to right now, unfortunately. And unfortunately, he's the only one that actually has the key to open the door towards the truth of what actually is happening, what happened in that house of horrors. And one thing I do find crazy is in the very beginning, let's not forget, he said, I could come and go as I pleased freely. That's not the truth. If that was the case, he would have not been found outside of a church. Okay. 8 years later, he would have already been found. But let's continue.
Brother was a big part of your life, the one who passed away. Talk to us about that, and was that a major part in this, how you were feeling with depending on your mom?
Yes, ma'am. He would take care of me. He would take me to and from school. He would pick me up. He would get me McDonald's. He just say little jokes and stuff. And after he had passed away, I just wasn't able to, love myself or anything anymore. I wasn't able to have somebody like a father figure. He was my brother, but I never had a dad. I only had stepdads. I didn't know how to grow up. I didn't know what I was doing as I was growing up. I didn't understand how to take care of myself, how to wash myself, how to make doctor's appointments, how to do anything, because I never had a chance.
What would you have to say to police that say, well, he was an adult?
What do you mean?
It seems like in this case, you didn't have the support there that you needed. And police seem so focused on your age that you were 17, which is an adult in Texas. But can you talk about the fact that, yes, you were an adult, but the mindset that you've been in?
Yeah, it was just like a constant brainwashing, like a Stockholm type of syndrome where it's just, just fall in love with your captive and just want to take care of them, do this and that. Like it would just constantly just be me trying to help and just take care of my mom, do whatever she needs because I cared about her and she's the only person I had.
Did your mom, over this last 8 years, did she say anything, or like, is there anything that sticks out in your mind that bothers you, or that you remember conversations with her that
Just, I don't know. I used to have to sleep in her bed sometimes. I don't remember why, just like next to her. It wouldn't be anything sexual or anything like that. I wouldn't lie about that because there's plenty of people that need honest truths when it comes to those things. That just muddies the water to lie about those type of things.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't mean to pause it for a second. This is bull. I'm rolling that back just a tiny bit, but that is some horse-ish. I want to curse so bad right now. Like, I want to curse so bloody bad right now. And I know that's not the right thing to do right now, but I call cap. I call cap on that. Okay. And of course, who am I to say, you know what I mean? I'm not him. I didn't endure the things that he endured. I don't live in that house of horrors or anything like that. But at the same time, there's something about this that I'm not feeling at all, y'all. Okay. I am not feeling it. I'm not. Who's to say he didn't have a conversation with his mother on the phone, her berating him, saying, you better go and, do an interview and recant everything you said. Who's to say? Because right now it sounds exactly like that. Did you hear what he just said? I'm going to play it back a little bit. But his response is obviously him trying to cover this ish up. Well, let me play it for you guys. Let's go.
I don't remember why, just like next to her. It wouldn't be anything sexual or anything like that. I wouldn't lie about that because there's plenty of people that need honest truths when it comes to those things. That just muddies the water to lie about those type of things.
Okay. So he's sitting there going, no, I would just lay in the bed with her, but I wouldn't, there wasn't anything big going on. There wasn't anything going on, so on and so forth. Why would anybody lie about that? Why would you muddy the waters and giving that kind of information? That's not what you do. That's not the right thing to do. Blah, blah, blah. Yet from what Quanell X said, he said something completely different. As soon as mama left the room, he's like, hey, yo, Quanell, here's what's going down. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm held against my will. And my mom has been pumping me with all kinds of chemicals. She's doing all these things to me against my will, blah, blah, blah. I'm a prisoner in my own home. I need help. Quanell speaks out. Let me say this too. Also, let me say this too, y'all. Quanell was right there outside with Rudy in the car. Remember, he walks out. He puts Rudy into his G-Wagon, okay? G-Wagon, puts him in the G-Wagon, walks around, gets in front of all these cameras, and just lays it on all of us. We're all shocked. Remember? She did what? He's going through what? All this stuff. Remember that ish? Remember that, fam? Because I remember it. He was in the car. He heard everything that Quanell X was saying. Why didn't he go, actually, that's not true? Excuse me, sir, that's not true? Why didn't he say anything to Quanell like, Quanell, no? He had an opportunity right then and there. I know he didn't want to be on camera, but he could have easily just said, like, there could have been something then where he could have said, yo, that's not true, Quanell, but he didn't. He sat in that car. He walked out with Quanell. He knew Quanell was going to go in front of those cameras and talk. Not only did Quanell or not only did Rudy want to see that ride, but he knew that there was going to be some sort of media outside. That's why he had the freaking towel over his head. Come on, y'all. Come on. Now he's recanting everything? Now he's going, oh, no, why would anybody do that? No one would do that. I don't know anybody would do that. That would muddy the waters. No, this is his mother's influence right here. Or through the grapevine, talking to, because allegedly he was staying with a friend of Janny's. And Janny's the mother. Okay, just so you know, Rudy's mother's name is Janny. You're telling me right now, you're telling me that this ain't influenced a little bit, a little massaging from Janny right now? Let me also remind you though, and maybe I'm doing this, maybe I'm connecting too many things, speculation warning. But yesterday when we saw live that she was at the precinct and she was going to press charges. Remember that? Think about this for a second. What are the chances of her doing that to show optics? To show optically, oh, I'm going to go press charges on my son. So she has something to manipulate him into recanting everything that he originally told Quanell. Oh, you saw that I went to did you see me go to the precinct? Yeah, I'm trying to press charges on you for lying about me. And then he's like, Mom, but no, don't do that, Mom. Oh, okay then, son. You want to do the right thing? You don't want to get thrown into jail? You don't want to become somebody's bee? Recant everything. Take the interview, recant everything live on the news. And then I won't press charges. Okay, Mom. I'm sorry. This is all BS, but okay. Let's go. Sorry for getting heated, but at the same time, this is an opportunity for him to get free. This is an opportunity for him to get justice. And now he's actually trying to recant and trying to make another public figure in whom he actually trusted in whom he actually looked up to. He's now making that man look like Boo Boo the Fool. That's bad. Let's continue.
That's where I said the media, they like to twist my words and confuse things. I never said anything bad about her in that regard, but, you know, just boundaries she would push or make me uncomfortable, and I would say stop, and she was like, well, why? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong, you know, and then I would just be like, okay, you know, I didn't do anything wrong, and just leave it at that, you know, just push my boundaries if you want, do whatever you had to do, and I would just be like a people pleaser, but I didn't.
Oh, come on. Sorry about that, guys. He said pushing my boundaries. Hold on.
I didn't have people to please, just my mom. I didn't have anybody to take care of or, you know, help understand me. It was just her all the time, my mom.
How hard has it been right now? I know that this is the only person you feel like you have had, and now that you're separated, how hard is it to make that distinction right now?
Just.
Do you want to talk to her?
No, not really. I don't want any contact with her at all. I just want to live my life away from her. She can do whatever she wants. I don't care. I just want to live my life. You know, I want to have a family, a job, a car, just a house. I just want to live my life. I just want to be happy. I don't want to keep going back to those negative thoughts she always has on me. I'm so tired of them. I'm so tired of those thoughts. Constant negativity around that house, and I hate it. Seems like every time she comes around me, it just feels negativity into me, like she's just downloading it into my brain over and over, and I don't like it.
Did she make were there ever times where police would come to your house to check on you that you recall? I
think at one point.
Did you have interaction with the police, or did your mom make you hide? Like, how are you able to get away? I know police mentioned some fake names. Did you actually speak to the police ever?
Like once or twice. Maybe once when I was driving my mom's car and they pulled us over because, you know, she wasn't feeling good. She had took some pain medicine after a surgery, and, you know, she was struggling to drive. So I was like, you know, just get over, you know, just get in the passenger seat. I'll take you home. It's not too far, you know. And yeah, they pulled me over for something like that, but I don't remember what name I gave them. She told me, you know, just say something else, say a different name, because they don't, you know, they're going to arrest you. I'm just like, why can't I just tell them my name, you know?
What was it like? I mean, 8 years without seeing some of your closest family members.
Yeah, no kidding.
And every time they'd come over, what would you have to do?
Hide. If my uncles or my aunts came to visit my mom, or my family would come to visit my grandma, that's the main reason they would go over there to see my grandma. And I would just have to listen to my family be happy and cheerful on the other side of my door. And I'm just like, want my families, I just want people. I just want communication. I just want people to understand that we need to start talking more and just stop, like.
Did you want to just end it right there and go out and tell them that you're here and you're okay?
I just want them to know that I wanted to scream for them, but at the same time, I just couldn't, because the only person I was able to trust was my mom. She told me so many things about my other family that I didn't know. I wasn't able to verify.
Was your grandma living with you at one point?
Yes, ma'am.
What other things?
You had so, and she tried to tell people that you were there?
Yes, ma'am.
She had Alzheimer's. Was she sick?
She had Alzheimer's and dementia, sundown syndrome. She had a bunch of medical issues, and that's why I took care of her the best I could.
And did she ever say to you anything about Rudy, go out, tell police, did she ever say anything to you? Because it seems like she tried to tell family members that you were there.
Yeah, I think she tried telling people, but it's just my mom, I don't know. I'm honestly not sure about that one.
Do you feel like your mom held you captive? Is that how you would?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, in a sense, just not in the physical, restraints or anything, but mentally.
So hold on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that. Let me play the rest of that.
She held me against my will, which is, I wanted to just come out and say stuff and be honest. And every time I would try to, she would just either be, no, don't do it, or, all right, go do it.
Why do you think she did that?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot to unpack here. And that's the thing. This is the thing that's really angering me, because he is saying that he was free to leave anytime he wanted. He was free to go. He wasn't restrained, but he was held against his own will mentally. Now, I understand that there is mental A. Okay, there is such thing as emotional A. There's such thing as all those things. There is Stockholm syndrome as well. Let's not forget that part. He did mention that a little bit earlier in the interview. Okay, we're a little over halfway through the interview as well. But one thing that's really strange to me is that he keeps saying, "Oh, I wasn't restrained." Yet there's reports from other private eyes that were involved in this, finding padlocks on doors and such. Now, and then on top of that, if he really was free to go and do whatever he wanted, why would he stay? I get it that he would hide in the backyard and all that, behind the gates in that wooded area, just drinking liquor and eating rotisserie chickens. But what would make him stay? Stockholm syndrome alone? You're telling me no other day except that one day he finally said, F it, I can't take it anymore, I'm gone? The math ain't mathing here for me, guys. And I get it. All of us out here want it to be something super heavy, super shocking, super mind-blowing and all that stuff, just a tabloid heavy type of reaction. But no, in my heart of hearts, I feel that this young man is being influenced through his mother in some sort of way. He is scared out of his mind. He showed up. Let's not forget, he showed up outside of a church with heavily, he was wounded and in really bad shape. Why was he wounded? Who put their paws on him? Was it self-inflicted? Was it not? I mean, those are all the questions that I want to keep asking, because that part ain't mathing for me. Real quick, Makava, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support. And just like Makava, guys, hit that join button down below or join my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. Jackie Sue, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. And Makava, again, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Let's continue on. But like I said, the math in this ain't mathin' for me. Okay. It is not, and I don't know if I would love to have heard what the reporters had to say about this information as well. When they heard this at face value, even Grizzy's thoughts about this as well. I would love to hear her thoughts about this this particular interview. Did she believe any of this? Did she, you know what I mean? Or was this all lies in her personal opinion? To me, right now, all of it, there are little sprinkles of truths on top of a gigantic lying Sunday. Okay, a Sunday of lies. All right, sprinkled very, 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 like very gently, a dusting, if you will, of truths on top of this Sunday of lies. Let's continue.
It's because maybe a lot of both of our problems stemmed from my brother passing away. My brother had passed away, and ever since then, he was like our glue. You know, he was like the father figure. You know, he's a provider. He took care of the family. You know, me and my mom. And then when I couldn't take care of my mom anymore, I had to take care of my grandma, and it was difficult. It was especially at the end.
Did you see your mom change her personality over the years?
She's always kind of had that mentality, like try to talk to her about something positive and then, or like, address her issues. And then my mom would just deviate, sidetrack, or completely ignore it, especially stuff like mental health.
This is your chance finally. We've heard from family members, we've heard from police. It's finally your chance to tell your story. Is there anything that you want people to know about what happened to you?
I wanted to live my life, and just something inside of my brain kept going back to her, like she was my life support in a sense. I needed her. Or at least she made me feel that way. She never gave me the confidence or the guidance or the teaching that I needed. She never gave me anything other than just the bare necessities and a job worth slaving over to help her pay bills and debts or whatever, or tickets and stuff.
Without getting into specifics, I'm sure you've heard or seen what Quanell told the media last week
about what in particular.
Okay.
About things that he says that you told him in that hotel room last week.
Now, the question here, this is the part that I personally was waiting for throughout this entire thing, because this part is interesting. How's he going to respond to this, guys? Take a guess. Let's see how he responds about the Quanell statements.
Specifically
about some of the sexual things.
See, that's what I'm saying. The twisting. No, I didn't say anything like intercourse or this and that.
But no, I don't necessarily think he didn't get into specifics like that either. But he did mention that your mom wanted you to play the role of husband in the house.
Yeah, pretty much. It basically felt like that. Like,
okay,
cook, or you didn't make me any food. You didn't do this and that. It's just like, I just want to provide for myself. I don't want to keep providing for my mom. I just treat it like a roommate towards the end, like I'm tired of being your son. I just want to be your roommate. I just want to live my life. Give me my check instead of $60 for 12-hour shifts 7 days a week at night. Like I just want to live.
She would make you go to work with her, is that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we don't want to twist your words. We want to say it from your perspective, and we want to make sure we get this right. So I know she had you play the role of a father, but as far as sexual assault or something of that nature, did she ever force? You don't have to go into detail,
no,
but
she didn't force herself on me or anything like that. Like it wouldn't be anything like I would have to go get a rape kit or go file a police report. Okay. It would never be anything like that. Just stuff that really made me uncomfortable, and I didn't have any references or other people to bounce off of to understand that, like, if it's a healthy thing that she does or not. Maybe it's just me not understanding how people work because she's the only person I understand. But
would you say that you and your mom have a normal son-mother relationship?
I mean, not after all of that.
Okay.
She did. And to be honest, I don't want one with her.
When you finally left a few weeks ago, when you were found at the church, what happened? Did you just finally have enough?
Yeah, I just been walking. just wanted to get away. I didn't care if I had a car or money or anything. I don't care about money. I don't care about a car. I don't care about anything, just happiness and love.
How did you end up at the church? Did you just have nowhere to go?
I just kept walking around. I just kept trying to find back home, something that felt familiar. And the only thing that felt familiar was this side of town. I grew up over there by Austin and Humble and Jackson and all that, Jackson and Austin and, just that general area by the freeway, So I kind of got a general sense of where I was going, but I just couldn't find something to be happy at. I found a church and I rolled with being at a church.
Are you still talking with your mom?
Safe. No, I don't want any contact with her, but she keeps trying to come around.
If she sees this story, what would you tell her?
Just leave me alone. Just let me live my life. Just want to be happy, and I'm happy now. And I'm working on it.
Rudy,
I'm being happy.
What would you say to people that think that somehow, now that you're an adult, that you were in on this? What would you say to those people that don't understand Stockholm?
It's very much a real thing. And it's a struggle when you're the only one that understands it. It's even worse when everybody wants to assume the worst rather than understand and communicate genuinely and honestly, because there's just too much confusion in this world.
How are you feeling now? Is there relief?
Yeah, very much. A lot of relief. It just feels like I'm just at peace now. It just feels happy,
And how have police been handling this, do you think? What have they been saying to you, and what's it been like?
I mean, they're trying the best that they can and giving me space that they can, but it's a struggle still. I'm just slowly trying to take it one day at a time. It's just a lot it overwhelms me very much.
Given everything that you've been through and with your mom, I mean, do you think there's something that police should know about?
Just that there's a lot of corruption. And it's literally through the colors. Like I said, I'm not saying, there's corrupt cops and this and that. Literally, it's a corruption of the mind. It's through nanobots and it's through the flu vaccines and everything. That's why people have that first memory of waking up and being alive whenever they're a kid. It's like I said, literally corruption, like the colors. I'm not talking about the skin tones. I literally mean actual colors. Whenever you look.
I'm sorry, I got to pause that for a second. See how everything starts to go off the rails again? See, even if he's out here telling the truth, which I don't think he's telling the truth at all, who would believe him now? Because you see what I'm saying? He starts talking, and then it starts going into because the nanobots and because of all these other things. Colors. I'm just saying this man's mind is not in good shape. I'm just saying his mind is not in good shape.
Look at them. They influence the direction you go, and online, the media, like the computers and the people we talk to, it's all connected in a sense. That's why it just confuses us. Whenever we look at white things, we get distracted and stuff, and we look at the reds and we remind us that it's love, but they kind of influence us to assume, through bad stuff online, they're like, red's bad, it's evil, it's a devil. It's like, it's not all that.
For 8 years, you haven't really been able to speak to anyone besides some neighbors, your mom, going to work. Sometimes your communication seems like it's been very little. Do you think that's impacted you throughout the years, as not being able to really have real relationships with people?
Exactly. I wasn't able to understand how people thought or acted, I would try to introduce myself, say hello to people online or this and that. And every time it just seemed like, just completely get shot down by people, and I'm just trying to make friends or socialize, and it's just like I don't understand how to talk to people sometimes. It feels like I'm speaking a completely different language than them, and I just don't understand sometimes.
Would you call yourself a victim?
Yes, heavily.
I'm almost done, personally. I don't know about you guys, but for the longest time you've stayed hidden. You haven't been able to say who you are. Is it nice? I mean, you can say who you are now. You can be your own self and do your own life.
Yes, sir.
What are you hoping?
Just a job, get my own money, and help out my communities, help out my people, and help out other kids like me. Because I don't want this to happen to other people, because I'm sure it happens to a lot of people. A lot of abuse and just neglect and just harmful ways of parenting that shouldn't be out there. You know, there's just so many negative ways that kids are just getting abused and they don't understand or realize that there's no help for them.
Another question we have for you is, so
He said it. He said it. He said A. Yeah, Addie. He said A. It's funny because in the beginning or throughout this whole thing, he's been denying all this other stuff. But now he's saying, because of A, he is saying it. It's very interesting.
so it's totally up to you or not. At first, we weren't going to because of the sexual assault aspect, but we want to put the record straight that you said that's part's not true.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
want to show your face or you don't want to show your face?
I'm not a big fan of showing my face, especially with a lot of people already knowing what I look like.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just makes it even worse.
I just want to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Rudy. We got you.
Anything we didn't ask that you think is important that you want us to mention, because we were here to finally tell your story. Anything that we didn't ask that you want to make sure people know about?
Man.
All I can say is just spread positivity and love.
The people that you're with, you know, a lot of people are coming down hard on Nikki and the people
They
you're
don't
with.
deserve it. They
Okay.
don't. They really don't. They help me so much, and they've given me a place to stay and a family. In a sense, you know, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
It really does. I never had, you know, a lot of people to talk with or socialize with, and it just makes me happy knowing that I have people here that I can trust and that can take care of me and that understand that, you know, sometimes people struggle.
So you consider yourself safe, out of harm, all that, right? Like you're with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm happy here. I'm very happy here, and they're very good people. They don't deserve any negativity towards them or hatred. They should have a lot of help and support and guidance and just prayers and positivity. Just everything that anybody would need to be happy in life. You know, just,
And your mom, when she comes by, do you feel like, you know, you are being like kept away from her when she comes and stops by or tries to talk to you?
I just don't want her here because I know the way she acts, it influences everybody around me. It's not just me. It's like she sends that negativity towards me, and then I send it back out towards everybody else, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I know Grizzy was mentioning that you might have had like someone from your high school reach out, and you've had a lot of attention from
people,
this a girl.
Yeah. You got some classmates, man. When you were going to to Catholic school, you got some classmates reaching out, which I told you about. Any messages to all the people that know you from before all this went down, that love you, that say they're here for you?
Just thank you very much for reaching out. And when I'm ready, I'll be able to reach out to the people I care about and love. And
Are you surprised by all this attention? I mean, it's been on the news across the world.
I wasn't expecting that much attention, to be honest. I didn't realize that it was happening so big, you know, just growing so much.
Are you going to take, I know police mentioned that there were some resources. Are you plans to talk to anybody that they put you in touch with?
At some point. It's just right now, I just rather do it by myself, you know, just try to learn to understand how to live and be a normal person, you know.
Have you gotten
and be nice?
Have you gotten an attorney?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Lawyer? No.
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
And then, have you talked to Quanell since you saw him at the hotel?
No,
No,
sir.
You might want to.
Anything else you want to add, Rudy?
You might want to, Brett.
Just spread some positivity.
Well,
Spread wildflower, not wildfire, because we need more colors and beauty in this world. We don't need any more hatred or burning things down. We need to just stop trying to disassemble everything and just take out the bolts and the screws and try to clean things, instead of looking at everything so negatively. Just look at all the positivity in the world. Focus on the positivity, because every time you focus on the negativity, it just creates more negativity around you and your communities.
Oh boy. So there is that. There is that. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So there was that. Uh-huh. So, yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to be real. Of course, I'm all for wanting someone to find find help, find justice, but I don't know if I fully believe this interview. And I know I've said it a bunch already. I've already said a bunch before, but I'm going to say it again. Something about this just does not sit right for me. Something about this particular story is not feeling right. Because and the other thing is yeah, Tyler, I do agree. This was really hard. The other part is that it's really hard to listen because you can clearly hear how deeply tormented this man's mind is. He still sounds like he's high to me, the way he's talking. Now, that could be a mental health disorder. It could be, and those things can be induced because of what he alleged at first, the amount of chemicals, I got to use these words, but these chemicals that are being put into his body against his will, the stories in which Quanell X gave to us, told us as viewers, as we all sat there in awe and in shock, jaws dropped to the floor when we heard these allegations from Quanell X. If those claims are absolutely 110% true, this man has been broken by his mother, not only just physically, not only just mentally, but also chemically as well. So when we hear this man talking, this young man speak about his experience of the past 8 years, he's kind of going back and forth. He's kind of bouncing back and forth, as you see. 1 minute he's saying one thing, the next minute he's saying something else. And then he'll go off the deep end and talk about colors and how the algorithm is, everything's an algorithm, and the colors that we see, convey these types of things, blah, blah, blah. Like, clearly this young man is deeply tormented. And it's not by his own hand, it's by his mother. And the fact that he's sitting there going, I want to get as far away from her as possible. I want my freedom. I want to get away. He keeps saying, I want my freedom. I want to get away. I get it. Because he sounds like what he would sound like if he was 16, 17, or 18 years old. Actually, more like 15 to like 18. That age when you want independence, you want to get away from your parents, you want to be your own person. Stop, mom. That kind of stuff. You want to wear your own clothes. You want to wear them how you want to wear them. You want to be your own individual, right? That's the kind of stuff you hear from like a teenager, not a 25-year-old man. So when I hear stuff like this, clearly his memory or his development, right, his own mental development has been stunted because of the amount of torment his mind and his body has gone through. Then they talk about like Quanell talks about all the scars that were all over his hands, all over his arms and stuff. And you saw how Quanell was feeling some type of way about this, how choked up he was about talking about what he heard from Rudy. Why? Why would Quanell, of all people, go out of his way to lie? There is a huge chunk of this. There's a massive 98.9% of this interview I feel is cap. I feel like this is a full-on bold-faced lie. I don't believe it, y'all. I think that his mother still has a great deal of influence on him. He even said himself near the end of the interview that she would not let up, that she just keeps trying to get in contact with him, keeps trying to talk to him, so on and so forth. Who's to say that the people that he's staying with aren't involved, aren't relaying the information that his mom is saying to them, playing telephone? You know what I mean? Oh, your mom said this. You're telling me he's not on the internet? You're telling me he's not watching YouTubers talking about the developing news of like she went to the precinct to try to press charges on her son? You don't think he's seeing all that stuff too? All I'm saying is this piece doesn't feel 110% real. Truthful. It doesn't feel truthful. Could be the truth. But at the same time, now I want to hear that recording that Quanell X got. And you want to know something? He's going to be forced. That's what's going to happen. The public, the people are literally going to force his hand in releasing that audio tape or that audio recording. Watch. And that's the other thing too, Rosie. I think he could have just straight up made a lie because he was just trying to find a way to get, he could have been lying. That's the other part too. He could have just been lying to Quanell, made up all this stuff, said what he needed to say because he wanted to achieve what he has been saying in this entire time. And also the other reason why he was found outside of a church, because he's trying to get as far away from his mother as possible. So what do? You make up a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe manipulating Quanell. Because again, he got up. They walked out of that hotel to check out his G-Wagon. He had a towel over his head. He had just confessed all this unthinkable things to Quanell. Quanell walked over to the press and said all that stuff. If it really was a lie, or if Quanell was lying, he heard everything. Rudy heard everything, guys. He didn't jump out of the car. He didn't honk the horn. He didn't open the door and say, Quanell, that's not true. Or why did you say that? There was no pushback. And again, the detectives were in the room hearing, or a detective, the same detective at the press conference, heard the confession. So that's the thing that doesn't make any sense. The other thing, too, is you're absolutely right, MEA. You do what you've been taught. You're telling me his whole life, he didn't learn how to lie? His whole life, he's been part of his mother's scams this entire time. He even talked about the cancer sham that she was trying to do. He was a part of all that stuff. Who's to say, and I said it earlier in an earlier show, and I'm going to say it now, too. Who's to say that she said, you know what, I need you to take the 2 dogs and I need you to just disappear for a day because we just need to do a missing persons thing. We can maybe make some quick money off of GoFundMe, blah, blah, blah. Who's to say that she didn't go to him and say and tell him to do that? And then when he came back, she realized, oh, damn, I don't want us to get in trouble, so I'm just going to hold this out for a little bit longer. You're just going to need to hide for a little while. And a little while just turned into 8 years. Also because he was a part of it, she kept dangling over his head the idea of you were a part of it. You were a partner in this scam with me. You will go to jail if they find that truth out. So you're stuck with me. You're stuck with this situation. You're going to hide. And whenever somebody shows up, you're going to go in that backyard and you're going to eat your rotisserie chickens and slam down a bottle of Goldschlager. That's what you're going to do. Sorry, son. That's just the breaks. Unless you want to go to prison. Now it's the point where the boy that cried wolf, we don't even know if he really is crying wolf. And that's the frustrating part of it all. Let me get some super chats really quick. Quinn B, thank you so much for the 5. I do appreciate it. I would like to play devil's advocate. If you're not going to open up phone lines, please let me know email to send to you. Yeah, you could definitely send me an email for sure. I'm not going to be opening up the phone lines, not tonight. I wanted to share this with you guys, this story, and it's pretty crazy, but you can email me for sure if there's something that's on your mind that you want to get off your chest about this particular story, about this particular case. Ivan, thank you so much for the 10. Sorry, I'm late. No, it's all good, man. Can I get a quick recap, please? LOL, super please. Okay. I will. That's a tough one, man. I would just say go back to the beginning and replay the whole entire interview because it is pretty shocking. It is pretty wild. But there was an interview, just so you know, just a quick recap, very brief recap. There was an interview with Rudy Farias. He was missing. He was said to be missing for 8 years, only to find out that he was not missing. He was hiding in plain sight in his mother's home. There's been a lot of accusations about him. All right. There's been a lot of accusations about his mother after he was found, and they both admitted that he never was missing for those 8 years. There's been a lot of stuff that's been unfolding. There's an interview right here, okay, that I just watched with all y'all. Please go and check it out because he says a bunch of stuff. I personally am not believing it. I just don't. I don't believe the whole thing. I don't. And I guess only time will tell when the truth shall be exposed. But right now, that is what we know so far with this, especially with this interview. Again, I call 110% cap on it. I don't believe it at all whatsoever. I really don't. And there's a part of me that wants to believe him. There really is a part of me that wants to believe him. But there's another part of me that doesn't want to believe him because we have heard way too many lies or way too many pieces of information over the past week, okay, over the past couple days of covering this story. And what's very, very frustrating about it is that we're now in a place where we don't know if it's true or if it's fake. And it's frustrating because even so, I'm looking at things and some people are actually asking the question, did Quanell lie? And what's frustrating about that is he has so many better things to do than to lie about this. He has so many better things to do than to lie about this. Now, one thing is, I know a lot of people are wondering what he looked like because it was so like his whole thing was fuzzy. But this dude was literally wearing sunglasses. Hold on, let me show you what I mean. This dude was wearing sunglasses, y'all. He had like red, it seems like he had red colored sunglasses on. Okay. But this is from Grizzy's Hood News channel. Okay. And you can see like he's got sunglasses on, and he's just there. But again, this is just so odd. And it does make you wonder, is he going through withdrawal? Is he going, like, what's going on here? What, did he take a hit before he showed up and did this? Is he high as hell? Like, what's going on here? But this was one of the parts of the interviews from Grizzy's Hood News as well. And like I said, it. String Bing, just said Quanell did not lie. Rudy did not lie. He just does he just does not want his mother in jail because she has poisoned his mind. You know what, String? I do believe that too. I do believe that his mind is so warped. I don't think he knows what's the truth, what's not the truth. Yo, he's talking about algorithms and colors and nanobots and all this other stuff. You know, all this other crazy stuff that I think that that his mental capacity has been just pushed to the brink through solitary, being stuck in solitary, because what Quanell was saying, you know, being put under the influence of chemicals and just being locked away while he's just tripping balls, so on and so forth. I mean, it's terrible. Imagine that, years of that kind of torture, if those claims are true. But I do believe that Quanell heard exactly what this young man said, that what he told him is the perspective that he received, and Quanell believes that that is the truth. Let me say this. It could be Rudy lying, though, during that time, because he just wanted to get as far away from his mama as he possibly could. And that was an opportunity. And he said, hey, time's a wasting. He said, let me go over here to Quanell really quick and say, yo, this is what's going on. She's been doing this. She's been doing this against my will. She's been doing that. I'm in a prison in my own home. Help me. And of course, Quanell helped. So he got what he wanted. And now he's away from his mother. Will he get justice? I guess only time will tell. Will he come out and say that everything he said in this interview is absolutely 110% true? Only time will tell. Same thing with Quanell. Now it's up to Quanell, and it's frustrating to me. This burns my cookies so much, because at the end of the day, I believe Quanell. Now Quanell is going to have they're going to have to force his hand to put out the recording, because now you got Rudy coming out here saying, no, he twisted my words. Okay, he twisted your words for real? Or did you tell him those things and he took what you said at face value? You can't go from, oh, I laid in bed with her. I didn't feel comfortable about that with my clothes on, too. Oh, yeah, he told me he was getting drugged and he was getting SA'd and he was laying in bed naked with her. She would open up the curtain to the shower and then make him bathe her and all that, like all this stuff that he said. That you tell me he just went out of his way to make up all that stuff just for ish and giggles? Nah. I don't believe that. So now it's going to be up to Quanell. And again, he's just going to have to expose the recordings and show them for real. Nicole, Quanell's an activist that interviewed Rudy in the hospital where he said he was SA'd. Yes, absolutely. Okay. He's an activist for A victims. Yep. The police brought him in when Rudy was found to get him to talk because he was mute. And that's the other thing too. The mother said, allegedly when Quanell talked, he said, this mother came over and said, he can't talk. He a mute. But then he looks up at Quanell and says, I know who you are. You're Quanell. And that's insane. And that's all according to Quanell. And then Grizzy was in the room too. Grizzy was in the area, in the place when he said, oh, I know who you are. You're Quanell. I know exactly who you are. And Quanell's like, am I lying, Grizzy? And Grizzy's like, nope, you ain't lying. Because the mama even said, this kid can't even talk. He a mute. And yet he was like, oh, he can't talk. He's a mute. Oh, I know who you are. A mute doesn't talk. Last I checked. And Lex Luthor, just so you know, Grizzy is actually the still I have right here. Grizzy's Hood News on Facebook. She also has a YouTube channel as well. She was in the room for the interview, and she's been on this story since day one, since it all broke. Okay, so she's been breaking a lot of the information. She's been the one dropping all the videos first before even the the interview that we just watched from the news, she actually is the one who put out these 3 clips by themselves before the news came out as well. You know what I mean? And again, she's been doing a great job. The only reason why I didn't use hers is because I just felt like the sound quality on the other ones were just on the other one was just a little bit better, and also is just one full interview in succession, not broken up into 3. But I'm not knocking what she does. She does a great job. You know, it was just a lot easier to use the news than hers, unfortunately. But I recommend everybody going and subscribing to her YouTube channel, or going and following Grizzy on her Facebook page, because she does a really great job. I would love to get her on the show, because I'd love to get her perspective on this whole thing, because it is just absolutely crazy in my personal opinion. It is heartbreaking how this all went down, how this all is still continuing to go down. How this all went down. That it's just for me, it's very frustrating. Okay. You know, he could very well be, I mean, let's be real. He is going through a lot of different things right now. All this press, all this interest in his life, where he's been, all that stuff. I can only imagine how nervous he is, and all that as well. But yeah, he This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one, because it's still wild. But I do think that her claws are in her. Or her claws are in her son. Her influence is seeped into her son so deeply. I don't think he knows where he starts and where she ends. If it's a scam, I mean, the whole thing could be a scam. I mean, the whole thing could be a scam, but that's not what I'm trying to say. What are they scamming? The thing is that there's got to be some sort of thing that they're trying to get, right? There's got to be something within this. What's the goal? Why would they go out of their way to do all this extra stuff? You know, a scam would mean that they're trying to get something, maybe financially or something. So what would this scam be for? Why? And then why would they bring in this young, why would they bring in Quanell X in this way? I don't know. But I think I think Quanell got the information. He believes the information he received. There definitely is, and Rudy did say multiple times that everything that went down, he's been held against his will. He has been in that house. There's been reports of that place being a house that has been in upheaval, in terrible condition, animal feces and urine all over the place. You had a grandmother who passed away a little bit ago that was mistreated, was malnourished, etc. in that house. There's a lot that was going on in that house. So at the same time, I wonder, you know, I'm wondering what's going to happen next. I will say this: if there is a GoFundMe that suddenly pops up for Rudy, I would definitely hesitate, because I want all clarity before I pull out my wallet, because instantly I'm thinking that that is going to be a scam instantly. So Quanell needs to get that recording out as soon as possible. I'm saying ASAP Rocky, okay? As soon as mother loving possible, so that we all can hear it, and then we can all come to our own conclusion on what the hell really went down in that house. That's what I say. Such a damn shame, y'all. Instead of us out here, you know, getting the justice that I think he needs, we're all still sitting on our hands wondering what is true and what's not. And that's the sad part of it all. Instead of this being a straightforward story, there's still so many speed bumps throughout this thing. So many hazardous things that have been going on. And now we don't even know what is true, or I feel like the general public doesn't know what is true and what is not. But the one thing you can take away from this is that that kid is still a victim. He was being held against his will. He said mentally it wasn't physical, but hey, there's other stories out here that are telling us otherwise. Clearly, this is a deeply, deeply traumatized young man, and he needs the help that he can get. And yes, he needs to be as far away from his mother as he possibly could, or as he possibly can be. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Thank you guys so very much. All right. You guys could be watching anything else under the sun, but you decided to watch this with me, and that really does mean a lot. Of course, if there's anything else that's going on, I will be talking about it here, especially with this case. Obviously, it's still developing. There's still more stuff going on. I'm going to say this out loud, and maybe Quanell's watching the show. And shout out to you, Quanell, okay, for holding it down and staying true to your beliefs and to your truth. But I will say this, please, just put out the audio. Just put it out. That's what I say. Put out the audio, okay? So that we can get some clarity, okay? Let's get some clarity. Anyway, guys, hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Hit it before you head out, okay? That would really mean a lot. And of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Again, it'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, set it to all so that you know whenever I go live, because it is random. And of course, hit that join button, support the channel, become a member. All right. Or you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. That would be greatly appreciated as well. Anyway, it is time to get going. Love all y'all. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.